Racism really ruins a lot of lives. Racism runs deep, all the way back in history, and a lot of people already are full on aware of what racism has caused in America and American society. And so, you're gonna see like several clips of examples, slogans, different incidences that have occurred, protests, and I just want to prepare to say that for those of you that are unaware, that this is not going to ever really go away, because as long as you have people who harbor a lot of hate, a lot of prejudice, and there are people who are blatantly racist, they don't see other people as being human. They don't see other people as being equal to them. You're going to have more and more incidences of killings that are race related, hate related crimes, things that have to do with racism. And it's sad, but it's true, because you have people that will use racism to catapult their self, to make themselves feel good, because that's the only thing they have to thrive on. And so what racism will begin to bring on is anger and riots that result in destruction of property, more protests. You'll have protests where people feel that they're more privileged, that they're more better, that they're smarter, that they deserve to have more than other people do, simply because they don't believe that others are human, for whatever the reason. And it can go into politics, it can go even into religion, and it can go into the fabric of this country. And it began with that. So you see, these protests are not going to go away. The same as the incidences that you see that are happening all around us, the protests are not going to go away, because you have people who don't want to live like this, who don't want to be involved in this, who don't want their children to grow up in this. But unfortunately, as long as we have people who, America being destroyed by design, want to build walls, they want to create more social divide, they want to benefit off of the profits of poor people, then you're going to have more issues that are dealing with racism, that are dealing with capitalism, greed, hate, anger, hate crimes, and that is where all of this is coming from. And it all stems from that election in November of 2016. And so that is what we are faced with. That is what is happening. And racism can also lead into where people feel like they have a platform where they can speak and they can say what they want to say to make others feel lower, to make others feel like they're more important, and that they will bring up statistics that show that another group of people are more violent. Chicago and all these other places, like that isn't happening in other areas of the world. Is if it's only centralized in one area with one ethnic group of people. And so as of now, you realize that Bill O'Reilly is no longer doing his shows, but I have a feeling that he will rise his head again, and he will be somewhere involved in maybe a podcast or some other show somewhere else where someone wants to hear his rhetorics. But anyway, moving along, you'll have people that will write books that have to do with what this one particular group is always doing to another particular group. And you'll always have the same person that'll pull up video after video. They will search for videos of that one specific group doing something to one other specific group so that they can support their point that, oh yeah, this particular group, they're violent, they're criminals, and that is why I'm writing my books, that's why I'm making my commentary. And then you will have people who are from that group. They are actually from that particular ethnic group, but they think as if they're not actually from that ethnic group. Oh, I rised out of the ashes and I became what I am today, and it took hard work. And poverty is a state of mind, and that's the reason why I'm who I am today, and you can be the same. And that is unrealistic because that is not the truth. That is not what happens in reality. Everybody's situation is not the same. But unfortunately, you have people like this that represent a majority of people who don't have voices to speak for themselves. So you have people like this who are in high seats who speak for the masses, and therefore the masses suffer because you have voices like this. Ben Carson, who is the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, who states one broad brush of stroke that poverty is a state of mind. So you have to be careful because poverty is not necessarily, I disagree with that, it is not a state of mind entirely. I only partially agree with what he's saying, but that is not everybody's situation. Sometimes people do emotionally internalize poverty because that's what they grew up on, that's what they know, and that's the experiences that they're familiar with. So maybe their mind does steer them in that direction. But some people not only have those issues, but they can't see their way out because if they're not making a particular amount of income, they're not able to pay their bills, then they're on survival mode. So they have to think a particular way simply because they're in that situation. So you have a lot of Donald Trump supporters. And a lot of Donald Trump supporters support Donald Trump because they feel he's going to build a wall, that he's going to make the rich richer. And these are the concepts and the ideologies that they're going on, that he represents the white community, and he's going to do the stop and frisk, that he's going to put more taxes and raise prices for people who are supposedly, they may not be wealthy, but they if they're working class or if they're poor, they have to pay more taxes, they have to pay more in rent, they have to pay more in everything. So you see, there are a lot of issues in society, and American society, and social issues having to do with the black community, with the Hispanic community. There's killings, there's more people that are jailed specifically based on skin color. You have lots of things that are going on. And then you had high profile trials that happen where that you see that innocent people are being gunned down based on, oh, we don't have enough evidence to convict this individual. We assume that maybe that this person was telling the truth. And George Zimmerman, he goes around and he has all these issues going around after the case, but yet he still walks free after killing an innocent black teenager. And so you have black women who are being killed, but now you have black on black crime, escalating simply because of the turf wars in certain areas, because people are trying to fight for money and they're trying to fight for resources. And then you have the social divide, the gender wars with black females and black males, and black males versus black females, simply because there's a lot of issues having to surround child support, not enough male centered households in some situations. That's not all. And then when you do have male centered households, is it going to be safe, or a safe environment for your kids and for the woman? Or is he going to be egotistical? Is he going to be over controlling and violent towards the woman? Is there mental issues going on in the household that nobody has gotten help for? So it can go both ways. And then you have religion, and then you have political issues surrounding groups that feel that they're empowered and emboldened to show their pride for whom they have elected, and the cross, because they're Christians. This is their country and this is their land, and they want to take over and they want to take it back because white lives matter, not black lives matter. White lives matter. Only the white lives. Only all lives matter as long as it doesn't include black lives, or as long as it doesn't include lives that they feel that aren't really relevant to the white lives that matter. And so you have KKK, and KKK, believe it or not, is founded on Christianity. And you have black people who want to speak about Christian and Christian values and how they believe in religion and how religion is important, but you wind up in these positions, praying for something that never comes. The rapture. Oh, there's some white man on some white horses that's going to fly out of the sky and he's going to save all the black people. And this is not true. These are fallacies. These are things that black people have been grown up in generations and generations believing that somehow some miracle is going to happen, and it's going to be an opening of the clouds and a rapture, and all the bad people are going to just be left behind, and all of the good people are going to go to heaven, and all of the people who were horrible and who were egotistical and greedy in America, somehow they'll be swept away. And yet we have America, supposed to be the richest country, the most wealthiest country, yet we have the most poorest people and most hungry people, and we have the most homeless people starting to grow in numbers. And now it's going to be even more now that we've got Ben Carson, Donald Trump to thank for the new laws that they're going to bring about in effect in 2018 that could impact millions of Americans. Being more homeless people, and more homeless people, what do you think that's going to bring? It's going to bring on more poverty, and it's going to bring on more crime, more desperation. And then you have these wealthy people who feel like they have privilege because they have money, not just based on color, but money is what drives this country, and money is important. So they're going to spend a lot of money on security, a lot of money on Brinks and West Tech and all these people, and then they're going to go to these synagogues and they're going to go to these places and give to charity because they have a lot of guilt. There's a lot of guilt. We have a lot of money, so we give to charity. We're doing our part. But not enough, because unfortunately you have people who are being kicked out of their houses, kicked out of their neighborhoods, simply because they're being priced out, because they don't have the means to live in the communities that they've always been born, raised, and grown up in. So there is a war. Not only it's just not race-based, but it is economical. It is an economic war against people who are poor, or people who have median incomes, or maybe even they were once upper class, upper middle class. So now we have not only a racial wealth gap, but we also have that economical wealth gap, just simply because you don't make enough money. So we could include that in there. And so we have all these things that are happening in America, and they're very attractive and very costly, and things that we can't live without. And they know this. These people who are in the business of marketing goods and products, all they concern themselves with is who are going to buy their products. It's not about the people, it's not about the race, it's about green. That is what people see, is the dollar bill. That's what controls people here in America. And so that is the reason why we have the issues that we're faced with. I felt like I needed to go over it even more. And so there goes the hate crime that will escalate, because people will use that as a leg up. Well, I hate you because you're gay, or I hate you because you're black, or I hate you because you're an immigrant, or I hate you because you're Muslim. So they'll use anything they can to try to weed out the competition, because they want the center of control. They want to control what is happening in their circle. So they'll use anything. They'll pull at no stop to get their point across, even if it means they have to kill somebody or they hurt somebody that is innocent. So this is what we're faced with, and America is racist. There is racism in America. They have the Pledge of Allegiance, and they say in God, God is going to protect us. And this God, who is this God? This is the God of evil, the God of hate, the God of KKK, America KKK. This is the God of greed, is what it is. The God of racial profiling, the God of it's okay to kill black women and men and not get arrested for it and not be held accountable for what you've done. It's okay to hate women. It's okay to hate people who you feel aren't like you or aren't privileged. That is what America has been founded on.